Now, what I will also say is, Angel, your actions are starting to speak so loud, we can't hear what you're telling us. Because what you told us, if we go back to March 31st, was simple. You said you think people just take it like we hate each other. And Caitlin Clark and I don't hate each other. I want everybody to understand that. That's what you told us. The problem is your actions vehemently disagree.
Reese reportedly grew quite unhappy after the WNBA suspended her following a heated on-court confrontation with her long-standing rival Caitlin Clark. The altercation was highly publicized due to their rivalry and the physical aspect of the play. The problem was further exacerbated by the subsequent social media
every
outcry.
Team in the league, if not all but one or two teams. And the two flagrants aren't just on the same team.
Yeah.
They're on the same woman on the same team.
Yeah.
It's not coincidence unless you...
When Reese hard-fouled Clark while he was trying to stop a jumper during a WNBA game between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever on June 16th, tensions flared. Even though the Fever won 91-83, everyone was watching the post-game emotions since Reese hit Clark in the head after utterly missing the ball. After reviewing the play, officials raised the initial classification to a flagrant foul, sparking controversy. Reese downplayed the impact by calling it a basketball play.
And control the refs, they affected the game obviously a lot tonight. So I think we went up really strong a lot of times and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back at looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle.
Unexpectedly, Clark agreed, stating that such circumstances are a normal part of playing basketball.
Basketball, it is what it is. She's trying to make a play on the ball and get the block. But yeah, I mean.
Both recent their heated altercations have often made headlines, and Clark has a long history dating back to their undergraduate days. There was extra drama on the court during this WNBA matchup because of the long-standing rivalry, but the tension didn't stop there. Shortly after the game, Reese, who is renowned for being vocal, gave a brief and disdainful interview when questioned about the foul and the game. She complained about the media and ridiculed Clark by claiming that her opponent was given a special whistle, implying that the officials were calling calls in Clark's favor.
The definition of a flagrant foul is literally hitting somebody above the...
That was not a special whistle. That was the correct whistle. When it's a basketball play, there's contact, it's a foul. When the contact comes to the head, it is a flagrant, it's upgraded. So that was not a special whistle, sis. That was a...
After social media users saw Reese's unusual whistle statement, fans began looking back at past games to discover situations where Clark might have gotten away with making calls.
Here's where I'm going where the rivalry kicks in. Angel Reese, the reason why, obviously, the whole Caitlin Clark Angel Reese thing happened was because when they met in the NCAA tournament in 2023, when Angel Reese was doing all of this, because Caitlin Clark had been doing that to her opponents when she got the best of them. So Angel Reese and LSU got the best of her, and that's what she did unapologetically, okay? And Angel Reese is going to talk that talk. And so because she's going to talk that talk, and because she's a conscientious observer, and she's going to speak her mind, and she's going to be unapologetic in doing so, that is where you see her in the shine, and the throwing in stuff about her with Caitlin Clark really comes in the focus. If it's purely about their games are on two different ends of the spectrum. That's not the...
Despite their on-court animosity, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have undoubtedly become two of the most well-known individuals propelling the tremendous surge in interest in women's basketball. However, some commentators argue that their intense competition is fake nearly instantly. After Reese fouled Clark, the video went viral, sparking a contentious debate among fans over whether the foul was severe or just a normal part of the game. Some demanded the claim that the strike seemed to be deliberate led to Reese's suspension. Kennedy Carter gave Clark a cheap shot during an inbound play earlier in the season, earning the team's first flagrant foul, so this wasn't the first time the Chicago Sky players had run afoul of Clark. Reese's hit was the second, adding to the already growing animosity between these two squads.
Shanae said, I think the thing is, I believe, Miss Carter, you can play hard without playing cheap. Now, if you want to say, well, she threw a elbow or a punch at my head, if you wanted to hip check her and you're trying to block her out for a rebound, I don't think we're having the discussion. Shanae, Monica, I don't think we're having that discussion. But because she was standing there and you go up and you do that, now all eyes are on you. Plus the fact if people look at your resume, it's who you are. You're a top 5 pick, and within inside of a year, you're kicked off a team. You go to another team, and within that situation, all that happens. And yeah, of course, it's the same thing. Stephen A. Put Stephen A. up on the stream.
Despite Reese's earlier claims that she and Clark don't hate each other, her on-court antics are making many wonder whether there is more to their rivalry than meets the eye. Whether Reese's claim that she doesn't dislike Clark but is just competitive is a topic of much discussion.
I don't think we're having the discussion. Shanae, Monica, I don't think we're having that discussion. But because she was standing there and you go up and you do that, now all eyes are on you. Plus the fact, if people look at your resume, it's who you are. You're a top 5 pick, and within inside of a year, you're kicked off a team. You go to another team, and within that situation, all that happens. And yeah, of course, it's the same thing. Stephen A. Put Stephen A. up on the stream for a second.
Despite Reese's previous comments that she and Clark don't hate each other, her actions on the court are making people wonder if there's more to this rivalry than meets the eye. Reese did say that she doesn't hate Clark, but that she is just competitive. But many are arguing if she really meant that.
You said you think people just take it like we hate each other. And Caitlin Clark and I don't hate each other. I want everybody to understand that. That's what you told us. The problem is your actions vehemently disagree. Because on June 1st, after Kennedy Carter cheap shots Caitlin Clark, you get up and you celebrate the cheap shot of Caitlin Clark. And then you proceed to hug your teammate who just cheap shotted her. Then fast forward 2 days later, you say, I'll take on the bad guy role. Then fast forward 2 weeks later, you wear Joker shoes. Now, for those that don't know, Joker is obviously a notable villain character in one of the most famous stories that we all like to celebrate in Batman. And then yesterday, you get a flagrant foul by hitting Caitlin Clark in the head. It was a basketball play, family, but what I want is simply for Angel and those that are a little bit ignorant to what has been going on to understand that Angel's actions are starting to speak so loud we cannot hear what is being said. For those that are unfamiliar, let me tell you all, there have been 540 minutes of Chicago Sky basketball. Pay attention to this detail. 540 minutes of Chicago Sky basketball, of which Caitlin Clark has played 74 minutes against the Sky. The Sky only have 2 flagrant fouls all season. Y'all want to know who the 2 flagrant fouls are on? Caitlin.
After the game, Angel Reese received a WNBA suspension for the foul, and her reaction was anything but quiet. She was suspended and fined $1,000 by the league for skipping post-game media responsibilities after a close 71-70 loss. Marginally decreased her $73,439 pay, which is raised by endorsement deals in the Chicago, even though many people think Sky was solely to blame from the beginning. She claims she hasn't been treated fairly after receiving a $5,000 punishment for violating league rules.
I would have gotten on her about what she just said. Because I would have been like, how naive can you be? But she is young. She's only 22. And the reality is the scrutiny that she's been subjected to is inexcusable. It's egregious. It's disgusting. It's wrong. And there's a bunch of punk, no good, you know what's out there on the male and female side who are abusive because they're really, really good at being that way when they're behind keyboards and away from cameras and out of the spotlight where people know exactly who the hell they are. The only reason that I brought up the first part about Angel Reese is this. Caitlin Clark is box office. She is a star. And Angel Reese is to be completely believed that there's no hate. They both get along. They're cool with each other. They're high-end competitors, etc., etc. But you've known they were coming for you when you were waving your hands in your face to mock Caitlin Clark when you were beating her for the national championship. And you also are old enough to know that in this society, whether they want to admit it or not, they don't like seeing somebody black coming at somebody white who is a beloved star of theirs. That's not the case with all. It's not the case with most. But those who screech the loudest get the most attention sometimes. And that's what the worst of cynics and critics do. And so you knew they were going to come for you. You had to know that. Now, to the degree that they're doing so, I get where you come.
Earlier in the game, when Carter surprised Clark with a shoulder check, Reese even leapt off the bench to cheer passionately. It's interesting to note that the WNBA also raised Carter's previous penalty on Clark to a flagrant one, and despite Carter's refusal to comment on her behavior during the post-game press conference, it was clear that the two teams were still in love.
I think it wasn't a basketball play. It was an emotional reaction by Kennedy, and that's why it was a foul, and that's why it was upgraded, and that's why she was asked about it, and that's why the crowd reacted the way that they did, and that was a separate incident from everything else that's happening around Caitlin Clark. I think because we can look at that and then her response to it afterwards, her reaction in the post-game press conference, her comments that we just showed on social media, we can isolate this as, this is her sending a message to Caitlin Clark. This is her violently sending a message on the court in a non-basketball fashion. This is her using her words on social media to send a message about how she feels about Caitlin Clark. She said it herself. Those are her words. Yeah. What does she bring to the table? I think the conversation overall about Caitlin Clark and the reaction that we're seeing from a lot of people has become a bit toxic, because I think this incident is getting mushed in with how people have been playing defense on Caitlin Clark, how physical they've been on Caitlin Clark, some of the comments from some of the greats in the WNBA before Caitlin Clark got in. It's all kind of getting put into this pot of Caitlin Clark hate. Mm-hmm. And I think it's more nuanced than that. I think there are a lot of things that's happening with Caitlin Clark in the start of her career that are very normal to a lot of sports. You often see players who are in the league or players who have played before or greats have opinions about new rising stars in the league. That is not uncommon. That's not exclusive to women's sports. It's not exclusive to men's basketball. We can pull so many examples of that. You often see rookies get played very tough, get a little message shown to them, especially if they're coming into the league with a lot of hype. That also is not new. I think what is very specifically unique about this situation is we are seeing a transcendent crossover superstar come into the league and have a huge amount of buzz, of polarization, of excitement. It is translating in numbers. It is translating in ticket sales. It is translating in conversation. And overall, I think that's a good thing. I don't think that what Kennedy did is a reflection of how the entirety of the league feels. I don't think it's a reflection of how all female athletes feel. And I don't think it's a reflection of how the media feels. I'm excited about watching Caitlin Clark. I went to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. It wasn't my first WNBA game. I was excited to see how she performed. And I watched very, very, very physical play from the moment of the tip to the end of the game on Caitlin Clark. So I won't deny that there is a bit of an energy towards Caitlin Clark from the players. But this is basketball. This is competition. They are athletes.
Following more controversy and some eyebrow-raising following Reese's lavish celebration of Clark's misfortune, many wondered if the drama between them had ever really subsided, despite being the first overall pick and having an outstanding collegiate career. Clark's adjustment to the WNBA hasn't been easy, although opponents like Reese and Carter have made her first season even more challenging. Her unanimous first-of-the-year victory clearly shows that she just wants to concentrate on playing her game and disregarding outside distractions.
Malika Andrews, we start our show in the W where Caitlin Clark has just been named the 2024 Rookie of the Year. Clark averaged 19, 5, and 8 in her inaugural campaign, and she also led the league in assists. Clark's rookie season, it was historic. She had the most points in a rookie campaign, the most assists in any season ever, and she even messed around and got a pair of triple-doubles, something no other rookie has ever done. When a season is that special, we need a Hall of Famer to break it down. Rebecca Lobo is joining us now. Rebecca, can you just help us contextualize how impressive Caitlin Clark's rookie season was?
Malika, this season by Caitlin Clark is one of the best rookie seasons we have ever seen by a player in the WNBA. She has the 5th highest assists per game average ever. She's only the 2nd rookie to lead the league in assists. The other one was Tisha Penicheiro back in 1998. And I think the other thing you look at is only 2 other rookies have ever finished in the top 4 in MVP voting. Of course, Candace Parker set the standard in 2008 when she also won MVP. Diana Taurasi finished 3rd in MVP voting in 2004. And of course, Caitlin Clark this year finished 4th. And then, of course, when you look at what she helped do off of the court, there's not been another singular force like Caitlin Clark in terms of driving TV ratings and ticket sales. There's no comp for her in that regard.
Absolutely. She has been must-see all season long. And just to think where she is going to go from here is really, really exciting. I got to say, though, Rebecca, a lot of fans, they were anticipating Caitlin Clark becoming the 6th ever unanimous Rookie of the Year. Obviously, that did not not come to fruition. She was just one vote shy. Were you surprised at all?
I wasn't really surprised, just because anytime you have 67 people voting on something, everyone's not going to have the same opinion. And Angel Reese...
When asked about anything, Reese didn't back down. Instead, she talked extensively about how she had contributed significantly to the development of women's basketball. She told the media that she isn't afraid to take credit for her role in raising awareness of the sport, and that her efforts have been crucial in doing so. In a world where individual stars usually rule, it's clear that Reese wants fame more than just wins. The narrative is that Reese is challenging this, making sure that people Angel Reese and Draymond Green of the NBA are well known for being vocal, having a unique on-court presence, and regularly being in the heart of controversy. The fact that many basketball fans don't understand them is perhaps what sets them apart the most. It is safe to conclude that this rivalry is far from finished, and social media will surely continue to dissect every moment, especially since she has helped women's basketball reach new heights.
We can equally say that they may grow. Yeah. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is a star, and we think she is better, and she will then, therefore, by the laws of logic, be better. But the argument cannot just be just about the game, because it's not just about the game, and there are so many examples across all sports that it's not just about the game when it comes to stardom. This is an entertainment product. There's more to it than that.
Really, I guess we'll see. So, I mean, like Joy said, both things could be true. And Angel Reese is not lying. A lot of attention came to Caitlin Clark after she waved in her face. Mm-hmm. She had got a lot more attention. Then once she got a lot more attention, the whole world was like, Lord Jesus, this is Steph Curry on the basketball court. And that is why views in college, that's why views in the WNBA, all that went up, right? Did she bring awareness to Caitlin Clark? Absolutely. Was Caitlin Clark destroying college basketball before the wave in her face? Absolutely. But Angel Reese did bring attention to that. Now, once Angel Reese brought attention to that, Caitlin Clark said, this is what it is. This is true. And she showed you that by beating South Carolina, by beating LSU again. She showed you that she's that type player. Now, the only way I disagree with Angel Reese is because if Caitlin Clark, because she continues to keep saying that she's changing the WNBA too. I don't necessarily agree with that and the main reason why I say that is because did you bring attention to Caitlin Clark? Sure. If Caitlin Clark stays an extra year in Iowa, these numbers don't change for the WNBA. With you being in the NBA saying that you changed the game, they don't change. And the reason why I know that is because if you're not playing Caitlin Clark, it's 8,000 people at your games. The same amount of people that was at your games last year when Angel Reese was not there, right? The draft, people watching the draft went way up. You read all the numbers off of what Caitlin Clark has brought to the WNBA. If she does not enter the draft, even with...
They both play with a level of intensity that sometimes passes for hostility, but it's all a part of their spirit of competition. Reese has both ardent supporters and vocal detractors because, like Draymond, she doesn't hesitate to voice her opinions and gives her game a little edge. Reese has only been in her professional career for one season, while Draymond has years of expertise and several titles under his belt, but the public and media are putting pressure on Reese to live up to lofty expectations. Everyone is observing her every move as she makes her debut. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and press the notification bell. We appreciate you watching.